Imagine standing in front of one of Europe's greatest cathedrals. Towering spires, carved stone, intricate stained glass. Every detail seems impossibly precise for the Middle Ages. We're told these masterpieces were built by humans over decades, using only hammers, chisels, and the power of horses. But think for a moment, could a population struggling to survive really accomplish this? Take Reims Cathedral in France, for example. Construction supposedly began in 1211 and finished in just 80 years. No cranes, no trucks, no modern tools. Yet every stone fits perfectly. Every vault balances forces that even modern engineers struggle to calculate. Look beyond one cathedral.
Have you ever looked at a magnificent medieval cathedral and wondered, how on earth did they build this? The official story tells us it was all done with simple tools and immense faith over many decades. But let's look at the numbers. Take a city like Cologne in the 13th century. Its population was around 20,000 to 40,000 people. Now look at Cologne Cathedral. The sheer scale, the intricate details, the logistics of quarrying and transporting millions of tons of stone. Could a city of that size, where most people were farmers struggling to survive, really provide the manpower, resources, and specialized skills for such a colossal undertaking? This wasn't just Cologne. Across Europe, countless cathedrals and grand structures were supposedly built during the same period, all by relatively small populations. Does the math add up? Some historians are starting to question the timeline we've been given. What if there's more to the story? What if our understanding of history and the capabilities of our ancestors is incomplete?
Some theorists suggest these structures are the remnants of an earlier, more advanced civilization. Perhaps the Middle Ages were not builders, but inheritors. They may have discovered these monumental structures, maintained them, and added their touches. Legends tell us cathedrals were built on the ruins of previous churches, often destroyed by fire. Fires conveniently explain why new constructions suddenly appear, but the consistency of this pattern across Europe is suspicious. It almost feels like a pre-written narrative inserted to explain a historical gap. Photographs from the 19th century show medieval cathedrals already standing perfectly intact, while the surrounding population lived in relative technological simplicity, horse-drawn carts, basic clothing, and simple huts. These weren't constructions in progress. They were ancient structures being reused or preserved. Even the symbolic carvings hint at a unified, advanced culture. Griffins, lions, and geometric patterns appear across multiple continents, with similar styles separated by thousands of miles. Could all these details be random, or do they point to a shared origin? The idea that a single, lost civilization could have built these cathedrals is radical, but mathematics, patterns, and logistics all support the possibility. The cathedrals are not just buildings, they are silent messages from a civilization far beyond the Dark Ages.
Let's move deeper into the mystery and look at something most people never question: logistics. Building a cathedral is not just about art or faith. It is an enormous industrial operation. Stone must be extracted, cut, transported, lifted, and placed with millimeter-level precision. And not just a few stones, millions of tons. Where did all this stone come from? Most cathedrals were not built next to quarries. In many cases, the stone had to be transported from locations dozens, sometimes hundreds, of miles away. Without railroads, without trucks, without cranes. Every single block had to be moved using ropes, wooden carts, animals, and human muscle.
Now imagine doing this not for one building, but for hundreds of massive structures across Europe, often at the same time. History gives us dates, but it gives us almost no operational detail. No detailed maps of transport routes. No records of massive worker camps. No explanations of how food, tools, and materials were supplied continuously for decades. This silence is strange. In modern construction projects of similar scale, we have thousands of pages of documentation, blueprints, logistics plans, cost breakdowns, and supply chains. Yet for some of the greatest construction projects in human history, we are told almost nothing.
Have you ever stood before a Gothic cathedral and wondered, how on earth did they build this? These stone giants, piercing the sky, seem to defy gravity. We're talking about structures built centuries ago, without modern computers or cranes, yet with a precision that still baffles engineers today. The pointed arches, the soaring vaults, the massive flying buttresses. It was a revolution in architecture. What is truly mind-boggling is how this style seemed to explode out of nowhere in the 12th century. It was such a radical departure from the heavy, grounded Romanesque buildings that came before it. How did builders suddenly master these complex techniques all at once? It's one of history's most fascinating architectural mysteries. What do you think was their secret? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into history's greatest enigmas. How is that possible? Even more puzzling is the speed. Some cathedrals were supposedly completed in less than a century. Modern buildings, using steel, concrete, and machines, often take longer. So we must ask, where did this knowledge come from? Now let's examine another repeating pattern, the story of fire. Over and over again, we are told the same thing. A humble wooden church once stood on this site. It burned down. Then, almost immediately, a massive stone cathedral was built in its place. This happens again and again, across different countries, cultures, and centuries. Statistically, this is extremely unlikely.
Have you ever wondered how those magnificent cathedrals were built so quickly? It's a real puzzle. Some of these masterpieces were supposedly finished in less than a century. Think about that. Modern skyscrapers, with all our steel, concrete, and powerful machinery, can take just as long, if not longer. So, where did the knowledge and technology to build these ancient wonders come from? And here's where it gets even stranger. There's a repeating pattern, the story of fire. Time and time again, we hear the same tale. A simple wooden church stood on the very same spot. Then, a fire conveniently broke out. And almost immediately after, a massive, glorious stone cathedral rose from the ashes. This isn't just a one-off story. It happened all across Europe. Statistically, it's just so improbable. A wooden building burning down? Sure, but every single time, right before a huge cathedral is built, it feels a little too perfect, don't you think?
Where are their detailed plans? Where are their calculations? Where are their schools, their students, their written theories? In most cases, they don't exist. We are asked to believe that individuals with almost no historical footprint somehow possessed knowledge centuries ahead of their time, that they designed structures modern engineers still struggle to fully explain. Some of these architects are credited with working on buildings supposedly founded hundreds of years apart, as if they existed outside normal human lifespan. This creates a strange impression, not of real people, but of placeholder names. Labels attached to ancient structures to make them fit into a human timeline. Now consider the wider picture. Cathedrals are not isolated anomalies. Castles, palaces, ancient bridges, and massive stone cities follow the same pattern. Advanced construction, perfect symmetry, global similarities. And yet, we are told this was achieved by fragmented, primitive societies with limited communication and knowledge sharing. That explanation is becoming harder and harder to accept. So here is where we stand. We have buildings that require advanced engineering, a lack of detailed construction records, repeating fire narratives that feel artificial, architects with questionable histories, and population numbers that don't support the scale of construction. All signs point to one unsettling possibility. The people of the Middle Ages did not create these structures from nothing. They inherited them. They lived among the ruins of a previous world, a civilization that had already mastered stone, geometry, and large-scale construction.
What you think in the comments below. And if you're intrigued by historical mysteries, make sure to subscribe for more.